So in this video, I want to talk about buying your dream car at a young age. And there's really three core steps, things that you really need to understand in order to make this possible. So that's exactly what I'm going to break down now. So hopefully you can achieve this for yourself. And for me, I recently, a few months ago, I bought my Porsche GT4, which was definitely a dream car of mine from when it originally got released. I'm not saying it's my ultimate dream car of forever, but it's definitely a step along the journey, and I'm absolutely in love with the car and myself. As I continue onward and hopefully leveling up in the future, I'll be following these exact three steps as well. So definitely listen up if you like cars, if you're young, if you're old, anything, it all really applies the same, and it would apply to other purchases as well, not just only even cars. And please, let's get this out of the way. Smash the like button, drop comments to feed the algorithm, subscribe if you have not already, hit that bell so you can get notifications. All those things really do help to feed the YouTube algorithm, hopefully get this channel out to more people, get this video in front of people, hopefully help people. So yeah, please click all the things, much appreciated. So the first thing, it might sound basic, but it's really, really important. A lot of really good advice usually is basic but important. And this is that you're not going to get there through simply saving more. You need to make more. You need to make more money. You need to increase your income and make more money. It's not about saving an extra $1 a day or, the classic not drinking your coffee or latte, whatever. That stuff just doesn't matter, because even if you're young and you're working for $11 an hour, even if you manage to save up enough money to do what we're talking about in this video, how to buy a car properly, even if you do that, it's gonna be a stupid decision for you. Like, you don't want to tie up absolutely everything that you can make into just your car purchase or whatever purchase you're applying to this to. It's just not gonna make sense. You're gonna have to make more money. Start a side business, a side hustle, start a business that you think can really grow, upgrade your job, whatever it is that you're doing now. Even like, you have to increase your income source. That has to be the goal, rather than just like minimize. So many people put out messages about just minimizing. And to me, that really shrinks your mindset, and it just makes you in defense mode rather than thinking abundantly about money, just thinking about how I can save a few extra pennies and all of this, rather than thinking about how to just bring more money in and then spend more money in a healthy way as well. So number one, make more money. Start a side business, take up other side hustles, whatever it is that you have to do. For me, that was through Amazon FBA, e-commerce, selling stuff online. That is mostly what my channel is about. So if you're new here, you can definitely check out the rest of the channel. It's mostly about making money online, all of that type of stuff. So that was what it was for me, but it really could be anything. I'm not just saying it has to be that. It could be other side hustles locally, online, even it could be getting a second job. It could be negotiating your salary. It could be moving up the ranks, whatever it really is. But you're going to have to increase your income if you're going to want to buy your dream car. So the second thing is going to be credit and finance. Now, you might be of the mindset that you want to buy your cars in cash, or your houses in cash, or whatever it is in cash. But that's not what people do. That's not what people that are way more wealthy than you or I do either. It's just not a smart thing to do. And the reason for that is that you can take loans at cheap interest rates, and you can invest that money elsewhere, into your businesses, into the stock market, into real estate that you rent out. Whatever it is that you end up doing with that money is most likely going to produce a greater return than the small amount of interest that you're paying on an auto loan. So you're going to have to build up your credit to level up the cars that you are buying. And this also makes them seem much more affordable than you may have realized when you come to calculate the fact that a $30,000 car might really only cost you $450 a month, and not mean you have to just throw $30,000 at this. I'm using that example because that was similar to my 2008 Porsche Cayman S. I made a video of the cost breakdown recently. The payment on that was $466 a month with zero down. That was the first nice car that I bought, and that was my first loan as well, which was important. And when I say first loan, I mean first auto loan, because that's the only thing that's going to be considered when you go to finance an expensive car. For example, I was thinking about jumping up when I got my GT4. For a while, I'd been thinking of going from the $30,000-ish car all the way up to, say, something like a McLaren. The problem there is that I didn't want to tie up a ridiculous amount of cash and the thing that was stopping me from getting approved for loans of that value was not income, it was not credit score, it was previous loan value. That was the only reason. You see, the auto lenders, they're only going to maximum of double or so your past auto loan. So this is important because maybe your dream car is $200,000. That's not really going to look like just going straight to that. You need to think about some steps along the way and getting some loans under your belt to build up your credit, and not just build up your credit, which you should be doing overall, paying off your credit cards, all these things to build up your overall credit for your credit score. But you also need to be building up your auto loan history. And that might look like getting a car that is $50,000 now, getting a car that is $100,000 somewhere in the middle, and then eventually having the leverage and the power to be approved for your dream car. And there's dream cars along the way too, right? Like more realistic dream cars as you build up. So realize that it's basically impossible to go from zero to like a $200,000 loan, even if your income is any amount. Sure, you could buy it cash, but that's up to you. You could just do that if you make that much money that you don't care about the missed upside of investing your money versus just tying it up in a depreciating asset. Most people would recommend taking the cheap financing, and that's why you want to build up this credit. And you have to do that over time. They're not going to more than say double, maybe 2.5x if you're lucky. I did get a little more than double on my recent one, but double is pretty standard, which means 30K to 60K to 120K. You really need to leverage it up. And realize on these loans, we're really talking about probably a 72-month loan. That's what I've typically taken. In many cases, 0 down, so you can increase the amount of your loan so that you can leverage it up the way that I'm talking about. If you're putting a bunch down, then your loan is small and it's not gonna help you. $70,000 car, if you're putting 50,000 down, well, now your loan's still only 20, meaning your next loan's only 40. That's not gonna help you nearly as much. And a couple years ago, but really good interest rates were 3%. Now it's more like 4% is really good. And tip here, don't use the big banks. They're going to give you crazy, terrible rates. Try local credit unions. That's what I've had the best luck with myself by far. I mean, it's way cheaper. They're easy to work with. It's easier to get approved. It's a better process on every level. I literally get quoted double from like say Wells Fargo or Bank of America and stuff like that. Don't even bother. And the same would typically go for the lending that the dealer offers. It's always going to be a point or two higher, at least, and maybe more like the other banks, but they're making profit on that too. So I've always gotten my own outside financing. And also, you should only be buying cars that you have the money for, but realize that this does make the car seem a lot cheaper, especially when we start talking about the third point. But when a $30,000 car is only $450 a month, or a $100,000 car is only about $1,500 a month, it starts to seem a lot more attainable. And that's why it's important to build up your credit. Now, you shouldn't go finance a crazy car that is completely out of your reach just because you can get approved, but you can see how much more doable that does make it and how it keeps cash in your pocket, which is ultimately a good thing. Now, the third thing is probably the most important on this entire list, and this is that the actual costs of the car are not what your payment might be. And that's because depreciation might be less than the payment. And what I mean by that is if you're buying cars right, if you're buying cars that say have already depreciated a bit, then your payment might be this amount. But when you actually go to sell the car, you get a lot of that back from the equity that is in the car. I did explain this a lot in that video that I referenced earlier, the 2008 Porsche Cayman video. I mentioned that a lot because my true cost ended up to be significantly less than what I was paying for monthly, even with 0 out of pocket. And that was because I didn't buy it brand new, so I took the huge depreciation hit and all of that. And if you really understand this stuff, it can make your dream car, even, exotic cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches, whatever, it can make them much more attainable if you realize what the actual value of it, like what the buy price to the eventual sell price, the expected depreciation, that is your main cost in a car. It's not the monthly payment. It's not whatever. It might be sales tax. It is for me in California, but depending on where you live, in theory, you could buy a $100,000 Lamborghini Gallardo, drive it for a year and sell it for $100,000 as you were only making $1,500 monthly payments, which you then got back all of minus your interest and if you paid sales tax. So it is really a lot more doable to afford a dream car like that if you're realizing and you're planning for buying smartly in a way that is going to have minimal depreciation. So by understanding the depreciation curves of these cars, which probably means not buying brand new in most cases, understanding how to finance to get the payment relatively low, to leverage a lot of money, and then have the true cost be even less than that. And then by actually just making more money and having more income to fuel the whole thing and get approved for financing, this sort of 3-part pyramid thing, it all works together and makes it way more doable to afford these cars than people think. It's just, and that's also why you shouldn't be that impressed by people with them. Like, you have to realize, like, it's not that unattainable. It's not all that hard. So definitely, think about these 3 things and apply it to yourself, and it's going to make it a lot more doable. So let me know if this helped you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what is your dream car, and maybe what are some of the cars along the way. I would love to know, and just, give some input back and forth about where you're at now, what's in the middle, and where you hope to be. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts and all of that. Definitely do smash the like button, click all those things. Let me know also if you like this type of video and maybe what else you want to see in the space. But yeah, I really appreciate you watching and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.